Okay, so 2 years ago, I uploaded a video titled Fun Google Secrets Part 4. Didn't do too bad. In fact, it actually did pretty well. And if you ask me why, I'd say for 2 reasons. First of all, the internet seems to have a thing for Easter eggs and products made by companies that know every little thing about them. It's a really weird dynamic. People are like, maybe I should be a bit more cautious in the way I use all these super convenient tools on the internet. Oh look, a cute dinosaur. I'm going off topic. The second reason why this particular video did so well, in my opinion, is the thumbnail. And you know how I know? Or I think I know? Well, because over the years, Fun Google Secrets have sort of transcended from being just a series on my little channel to one of those topics like, I don't know, what's on my iPhone, or how I made a thumbnail. You know, those fantastic little videos people make when they run out of ideas? Now, every single time I bump into one of these videos, it's always the same thumbnail. Well, maybe not always. I mean, I'm obviously exaggerating for the sake of script flow, but you get the point. It's a pretty popular thumbnail. Now, some people do go out of their way and give it their own little touch, but they're not quite there yet. So in this video, I'm gonna pick one lucky contestant and teach them how to make their very own Fun Google Secrets thumbnail the right way. And by lucky, I mean the one whose name in the title will benefit me the most. So, Leah, let's get started. Oh, but before that, quick disclaimer though. This may come as a surprise to a lot of you, but I'm actually not very bright, so needless to say, I didn't come up with any of the techniques that I'm about to show you.
It's not a surprise.
Thank you. That was actually me in the background. I just walked away from the mic. I don't really have any friends. Anyway, I learned how to do this thanks to a video by a channel called Logos by Nick. I'm gonna link his video in the description, so be sure to send him some love. And Leah, I'm sorry, I know your time is valuable, so for real this time, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is download GIMP. Now, I know what you're gonna say, you use Photoshop, I know, but GIMP is free, so I'm actually saving you some money here. You're welcome. Now that we have GIMP running, we're gonna have to create a new project, and in order to do so, we're gonna click on File, New, and we're not gonna do anything crazy here. So for the width, we're gonna go 1920, and for the height, 1080, click OK, and already we have an image, technically. So we're getting somewhere. Then we're gonna head over to Google and do a search for Google Logo PNG. I'm gonna select this one and save it to a working folder. Then I'm gonna open the folder and just drag and drop the image into GIMP. Okay, now this logo is kind of huge, so we're gonna wanna scale it down. In order to do so, we're first gonna make sure that the logo layer is selected, and then we're gonna head over to Tools, select the Scale tool, click on the logo, and just bring it down to something reasonable. That looks pretty decent, so we're gonna click Scale, and then we can just use the Move tool in order to position it somewhere around the middle. Kid stuff. Next, we're gonna right-click on the logo layer and say Layer to Image Size. And the reason we need to do this is because in an upcoming step, we're gonna be smudging this logo all over the place. And if the layer boundaries were here, then we wouldn't have any space to do all the smudging. So we need to sort of push them out. Anyway, then we're gonna select our logo layer, duplicate it, hide the one on top by just deactivating this little eye icon next to it, select the bottom one, and now we're ready for the fun part. You following? Okay, great, because now we're gonna go back to the toolbox and select the Warp Transform tool, which we're gonna use in order to smudge the image on the part where we want the disintegration particles to be located. For the size, we're gonna go for something around 150 or so, and for the strength, something like 80. Then we're gonna zoom into the top right of the image and just click and drag the image outward. Now, as a rule of thumb, at least in this specific case, you don't wanna hold back here because a bigger smudge will actually allow us to create a more robust disintegration effect later on. Another thing that's specific to this image are the holes in the letters and these little empty spaces. That's something that might actually look bad when we start making the disintegration effect, but we can mitigate the issue simply by using a paintbrush tool and just filling in the blank spaces with the matching colors. And don't worry if it looks like crap, I promise it's gonna look much better in just a sec. In fact, let's just hide this atrocity for now and bring back the top logo layer because I think it's about time we started disintegrating this sumbitch. We're gonna do that using the eraser tool. Now, the brush shape you're gonna use will depend on the particular kind of particle effect you're going for. A good brush to use if you're going for sort of a thicker particle style is Splats 02, but since I'm going for more of a smoky effect, I'm actually gonna go with Acrylic 02. So I'm gonna bring the size down to around 30 or so, zoom into the top right again, and just start clicking on the edges of the letters that I want to disintegrate. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't end up with any lines on the edges. And as for the inside parts, you can just eyeball them for now. Don't worry too much about getting it perfect, because we can always come back later and make adjustments. But now we're going to bring back the smudged layer, right-click on it, and select Add Layer Mask. We're going to make sure white is selected, click OK, make sure the layer mask is selected and that our foreground color is black, go to Edit, Fill with Foreground Color,
and it's gone. Poof.
Now we're going to change the foreground color to white. We're going to select our acrylic brush again, bring the size up to something reasonable, and just click on the part of the image where the smudges were in order to create some really cool looking particle effects. Now, you want to take your time and play around with this until you're happy with how it looks. Once you're done, you can go back to the top layer and fix it up with the eraser tool if you need to. Just have in mind that this is one of those effects that never really turn out the same, so just have fun with it. With the way I showed you how to do this, you can actually change the background to anything you'd like. I'm just going to leave it white. Maybe add a bit of a vignette, take some of the saturation out of the image, and of course, we can't forget the final touch. Now look, I know all this might be a bit tedious, and I know you're busy fixing couches and everything, so if you just can't be bothered with it, you can always get Sausage to do it for you. I mean, he looks like a tech-savvy guy. Oh yeah, and just one little thing before I go. Google actually removed the Thanos Easter egg. But hey, thanks for watching, and as always, stay strong.